I feel like I need to preface this video by letting you all know I've never played a game of Overwatch in my life. Not because I think I'm too good for it or because the game is bad. It's actually the opposite. I think I would like Overwatch a lot, which is the problem. I don't want to get addicted to another game where I'm rolling the dice for good teammates in hopes of hitting an arbitrary rank to justify all the time I spent playing the game. I already do that with Valorant. However, even someone like me who's not that interested in Overwatch is wildly interested in all the drama surrounding it after a huge announcement was dropped by the Overwatch team today that everyone's upset about. And if you guys don't even play Overwatch yourselves, I think you'll find it interesting. It all started with this tweet, which seems, again, so innocent. It says, game director and executive producer took a peek into the future of Overwatch. Eyes emoji. Watch this segment for the latest on PvE and everything else we have planned. Star emoji. That's good. It seems like a fine thing. Oh, it's just a plan for the year. And then Overwatch legend and fantasy football god Super quote retweets and says, okay, this is what I'm getting. PvE scrapped, talent trees and long-term progression scrapped, and the only thing we're getting for PvE is archive-style missions every once in a while. Epic. What happened to the last 3.5 years? And if that makes no sense to you, you're like me. You haven't played this game, so let me give you some context. And to do that, we have to teleport back to 2019. A simpler time, a pre-COVID time, and a terrible time to be at Activision Blizzard because they had a bad year. It started with them separating from one of their best developers, Bungie, which dropped their stock a little bit. Then they had to lay off 775 staff members despite having an amazing 2018. And then they had all the backlash for firing casters and banning Hearthstone players over their support of Hong Kong, which led to an Overwatch character actually being the symbol of support for Hong Kong. And all that combined made 2019 their worst year in a long time. It was worse than 2018, 2017, and 2016. And companies, they like going up and to the right. And this is not that. So bad year for Activision Blizzard. And at their annual event, BlizzCon, where they get to announce all their fun things, they started out by apologizing for what they did to the casters and the players in Hearthstone for their support of Hong Kong, and then had a fun announcement.
Yes, we are.
Which was them announcing Overwatch 2. Which nobody expected at the time, and even me, someone, again, who had never played the game, I was like, that's cool. Maybe I play that game. Everyone's hype about this. The video got 20 million views, and everyone was popping off. And they expanded on what Overwatch 2 was supposed to be, because no one really saw it coming, so no one really knew what the goal was of the game. And here is Jeff Kaplan, who is a beloved, or was a beloved Activision Blizzard employee and the lead at Overwatch, talking about it.
Now, when I talk to lots of you, there's a common request that you want out of Overwatch, and Overwatch 2 is going to deliver on this, and that's for more story and for PvE, for cooperative experiences.
Yeah, PvE, player versus environment. You know, the PvP is what everyone knows Overwatch for, but let me get immersed into the world more. That way, when I look up the Overwatch porn at night, it hits a little harder.
Overwatch 2 will feature a ton of PvE content. We will have a complete story experience featuring story missions, the first of which is called Rio de Janeiro, is also playable in Hall A for all of you today.
All good news, all exciting things. But then here's a key promise that Jeff makes about the plans for Overwatch 2 and a new co-op mode.
Cannot wait to hear what you think about it. In addition, as you saw, we have something called hero missions, which hero missions are focused on highly replayable cooperative experience. The analogy we like to use on the team is similar to what adventure mode is to Diablo versus its campaign.
Okay.
That's what hero missions are intended to be. And they're powered by this really cool progression system where you can level up your heroes, get more powerful, customize your abilities.
Makes sense. Basically, they have a new co-op mode with different replayability features, skill trees. Basically, every time you play with your friend, it'll be a new experience. It'll be fun. It'll make you want to play Overwatch more without getting bored. That's the main promise that he gave at this announcement at the end of 2019. End of 2019. Keep that date in mind. A year passes, 2020. Nothing really announced. 2021 hits. Big announcement. Jeff Kaplan, the guy who was on the stage we just listened to, is leaving Blizzard after 19 years. And this guy, again, is a legend, super beloved by all of the fans and the players of Overwatch and the guy who is leading the game. And so for him to leave got people a little bit nervous. And there started to be some hints that they might have announced Overwatch 2 too early, that they should have waited a little bit. Not just because fans were getting antsy, but because it was hurting Overwatch, the original game, Overwatch 1. They stated that they put too much focus on Overwatch 2 over the past few years to the detriment of support for the original game. And so because of that, they changed the release plans for Overwatch 2. Rather than let's have the game all ready to go and then sell it out to you guys, we are going to release it earlier with just the PvP portion, and then that PvP that we were talking about, that's all like the new fun stuff, will come later. So let's just, because Overwatch 1 is kind of dying because you're all waiting for Overwatch 2, hurry along Overwatch 2. And that's exactly what they did. And a little over a year ago, they launched an invitational beta, and then October of last year, they launched the game itself. And the game's launch didn't go so hot. It wasn't the best launch of all time. Now, I don't know if this strategy was necessarily dumb, by the way, before we jump to how bad the game launch was. Overwatch wasn't doing very well after the announcement of Overwatch 2. I mean, viewership was declining throughout this period. They were averaging less for their kickoff events than XQC averages. Look, 50K in 2022 for their kickoff clash. XQC, he's at 62K right now. So I get the concerns internally and why they needed to rush out Overwatch 2, and that's exactly why they did it. But the launch did not go great. And here's Dunkey giving his review of it.
The haters have been calling this game Overwatch 1.5. I gotta say, haters, you guys are stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. This is more like Overwatch 1.1. Immediately.
Yeah, and he goes into why there's so many problems with Overwatch, but you don't gotta just take Dunkey's word for it. You can just go to the Overwatch subreddit and sort by top for the past year, and everybody's upset, both in terms of what the game offers and how it's monetized now. And they talk about how the subreddit's in damage control mode and how there's just a bunch of illegal things happening in Overwatch and how they don't give you nearly enough skins for your devotion and how the best days are now behind them. And there is still one hope, though. If you go to any of the threads or any of the comments, there's still one hope that Dunkey kind of puts out here.
But now to finally have Overwatch 2 in my hands, it feels like a major defeat. It feels like Blizzard could be the next BioWare. However, we still haven't played the co-op mode, which for me is the main draw of Overwatch 2. For the sake of the fans, I hope that 99% of the development team has been focused on the co-op, because I don't know what they've been doing for more than 2 years with the PvP.
So PvP overall a bit disappointing. It's very similar to Overwatch 1, although fun to play, and I know many people who do play it, and maybe it's balanced a little bit better. It is not a sequel. It is not Overwatch 2. It is just an update to the original game, and PvE, is the thing that everyone is excited for. And that brings us to today and why their announcement was so bad. So let's take a look again at this tweet with the eyeball and the star emojis. And then take a look again one more time at the skill tree promised, right? This is the hero mode with the skill tree, super huge replayability. Now let's watch it together.
And so we're left with another difficult choice. Do we continue to pour all that effort into PvE, hoping that we can land it at some point in the future? Or do we stick with this set of values that we've aligned on and focus on the live game and focus on serving all of you?
Now, this is the executive producer who prefaced this by saying running Overwatch 2 PvP by itself is very difficult and we want to do a good job, but we don't know if we can do a good job and do PvE. And so then he drops his bomb.
With everything we've learned about what it takes to operate this game at the level that you deserve, it's clear that we can't deliver on that original vision for PvE that was shown in 2019. What that means is that we won't be delivering that dedicated hero mode with talent trees, that long-term power progression. Those things just aren't in our plans anymore. And we know that this is going to be disappointing to many of you, which is why we wanted to bring it up before we talked about the roadmap. And to be perfectly honest, it's been really difficult for many of us and a lot of folks on the team who've poured their heart and soul into that stuff.
Now, I do not envy being a developer, ever. Even in the best of times, you still have people who are just dogging you for more and more and more. But this is just a simple lack of hitting expectations. Expectations were set and expectations were failed to be met. And that will make people upset, and I think justifiably so. But that's the huge bomb. All the PvE, all the things that Jeff talked about on stage that we watched together are not happening. And so where the PvP experience was a bit of a disappointment because it didn't feel very different from Overwatch 1, the PvE is not even going to happen anymore. They said they'll have some story-driven things that might occasionally be canon, but it'll be somewhat like seasonal, kind of like they've done in the past, as opposed to the much larger plan that was in place before. And that's where Overwatch is at now, which is sad, you know. And maybe you can think to yourself, oh, well, I'm glad I am Team Valorant or still playing TF2 for some reason because it's really fun. I don't know what you guys play. But I think it's just sad for the people who enjoyed this game, because I know a lot of them personally. Even my editor, Shake Drizzle, I think is like a paper 2 Overwatch player, and he loves playing that shit every night. He'll even be late on edits just to play that game a little more, and now he can't have fun co-op with all his friends. Sad. Wish they did a better job over at the Activision Blizzard, but I think this was a lot of internal pressure from higher-ups to deliver on a product and overhype a product to get them out of a tumultuous time, which led to disaster for the game itself. And that's it. That's all you got to know. So that's why everyone's mad at Overwatch. All right, that's it. See you later. Have a good day. Subscribe, everybody, if you want. All right, see you later. Maybe I should play an Overwatch game, right? Let me buy it at the dip. Buy low, sell high. Let me start playing now, and then when it comes back around in a couple years, Jeff comes back, oh, we're all going to be partying. Or I'll just never play. Yeah, maybe that makes more sense. All right, I'm out.